Welcome to Sounds and States, the Nigerian edition. Of the 6 course countries, Nigeria is the closest thing we will discuss to being a failed or failing state. Nigeria is synonymous with political unrest, widening social inequality, and economic and environmental challenges. It is also an example of the possibilities and potential of a young democracy which faces economic growth issues, primarily due to its ties to oil and being a petrostate and rentier state. Geographically, Nigeria can be divided into two: the south, tracing its roots back to European colonialism, and the north to the expansion of the Muslim empires. The south is more economically developed, with the north much less so, and also the north being plagued by violence and extremist groups such as Boko Haram. The Niger River Delta contains one of the world's largest oil reserves, but also one of the world's worst environmental problems from oil spills. The result is wealth contrasted with environmental destruction caused by the oil industry. In 1960, Nigeria officially gained its independence, but that set off decades of political chaos as military coups became the trend. By 1999, decades of violence and military coups came to an end when Nigeria adopted its modern constitution. Since then, it has been considered a more modern democracy, but still marred with corruption and political violence. Nigeria's branches of government are fairly standard. There is an executive with a combined head of state and head of government and its popularly elected president. Theoretically, the office rotates between a Christian from the south and a Muslim from the north, but that is not a standard practice, nor is it official policy. The legislative branch has an upper house and a lower house, a directly elected Senate, and a directly elected House of Representatives. The Supreme Court has 9 justices, which reviews all things constitutional, but there is also a mix of local, tribal, and religious courts throughout the country that create confusion, as you may be arrested in one court but not be able to appeal to a different court. Nigeria's massive population is impressively diverse, with over 370 tribes and over 250 languages spoken. There are also religious divisions, with a Muslim majority in the north and a Christian majority in the south. Poverty and lack of government involvement in the north has led to a rise of terrorism, specifically with the group Boko Haram. And while oil is the primary source of wealth, it's been controlled by foreign corporations and led to corruption in the national government as a rentier state. Elections are held regularly, but are plagued by fraud, violence, and logistical problems in such a large, diverse population. Political parties do not exist along a typical spectrum, but instead represent various tribes and regional ethnic groups. There is a wide variety of NGOs that attempt to confront environmental issues, democratic reforms, and environmental and economic development. Internally, Nigeria faces multiple divisions in geography, tribal alliances, languages, and even religion. Dependency on oil and a legacy of colonialism have left the economy weak and lacking in diversity. Massive poverty is almost nationwide, especially in the north and in the river delta, and corruption remains the biggest challenge to the legitimacy of the national government. Externally, fighting for control of oil production has resulted in international lawsuits against Shell Oil in particular in trying to solve some of the environmental problems. And in the north, Boko Haram continues to plague the government with violence. Thanks for watching. Copies of this presentation and other course country basics can be found on Substack for Sound and States, and be sure to check out the other course country videos here on YouTube.